You already know what it is. That thing you think about at 2 a.m. when the room is quiet and your phone is face down and there's nothing left to distract you. That business, that conversation, that move, that leap. You know exactly what's between you and the life you actually want. And that's what's eating you alive. Not the fear itself, but the fact that you know. Most people are scared of the unknown. You're scared of something worse. You're scared of what happens if you actually go get it. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you is going to reframe the way you've been thinking about fear for your entire life. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here's what I want you to sit with for the next few minutes. There is a direct line, a documented, repeatable pattern between every man who broke out of a mediocre life and one specific moment where he did the thing he was most afraid to do. Not the second most afraid, not the uncomfortable but manageable thing. The one he kept putting off, the one with real consequences, the one that could actually change everything. And here's what's strange about that pattern. The fear didn't go away before they did it. They weren't ready. They didn't feel confident. They didn't have all the answers lined up. They just went in anyway. So the question I need you to answer by the end of this video is this. What is the cave you've been circling? Not avoiding, circling, because you haven't run from it. You haven't forgotten it. You show up near it every week. You watch other people enter it. You make plans to enter it. But you don't go in. Why? In 1949, a man named Joseph Campbell wrote a book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. He studied myths from every civilization on Earth, Greek, Egyptian, African, Asian, indigenous, and he found something remarkable. Every single hero's journey had the same structure, not similar, the same. And the pivot point, the moment that separates the hero from the ordinary man, is never strength, never intelligence, never resources. It's the threshold. The moment where the hero stands at the edge of the unknown world and has to decide, do I go in or do I turn back? Every single story, every culture, every era. Because Campbell wasn't writing about mythology, he was writing about you. The threshold is the cave, and the cave has always represented the same thing across thousands of years of human storytelling. The place you fear to enter holds the thing you came to Earth to find. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. In every single one of those myths, the hero tries to avoid the cave first. He delays, he trains more, he finds reasons, he consults people, he makes plans. Sound familiar? Let me tell you something about fear that most self-help content gets completely wrong. Fear is not a warning system telling you to stop. Fear is a targeting system telling you where to aim. Think about the things in your life that carry zero fear, zero anxiety, zero resistance, scrolling, watching, talking about what you could do, staying comfortable, no fear, right? Now think about the things that make your chest tighten, that make you overthink, that make you sleep a little worse. The hard conversation with the person who's actually holding you back. The business idea you keep researching but never launching. The weight you've been meaning to lose for 3 years. The city you know you need to move to. The relationship you know isn't right, but you keep delaying the exit. Fear shows up proportional to the stake, which means the bigger the fear, the bigger the treasure. Your fear isn't your enemy. It's a compass. And for years, you've been treating north like it's danger. Here's what nobody talks about. Most people think the danger is in entering the cave, They don't realize the real damage is encircling it for years. I want you to think about a man. Call him David. David is 34, smart guy, knows what he wants, has a business idea he's been sitting on since he was 28. He's not lazy. He researches it constantly. He's built 3 different business plans. He watches every YouTube video on entrepreneurship. He tells people about it at dinner like it's already happening. But he doesn't launch. And every year that goes by, something quietly happens to David that he doesn't even notice. His belief in himself shrinks, not dramatically, not all at once. But every time he circles that cave and doesn't enter, his brain records it, files it, builds a case. See? We don't actually do things. We just think about them. By 34, David doesn't need external critics. He's become his own. The cave didn't destroy him. The circling did. And the brutal truth? The longer you wait, the higher the psychological cost of entry becomes. Because now you're not just afraid of failing. You're afraid of confirming what you've started to believe about yourself. That's the trap inside the trap. Now, I need to be honest with you, because a lot of motivational content will tell you the cave always has gold on the other side. That's not true. Sometimes you go in and it's hard, harder than you expected. Sometimes you fail. Sometimes you lose money. Sometimes the relationship ends. Sometimes the business doesn't work the first time. So why enter? Because the man who goes in and fails is not the same man who came out. He's faster, he's sharper, he's calibrated, he knows the terrain now, he knows what he's made of. And most importantly, he broke the psychological ceiling. He proved to his own brain that he is the kind of man who moves. That is the treasure, not always the outcome, but always the identity upgrade. And identity is the only currency that compounds. A man who moves when afraid once moves again and again. And every time he enters a cave, the next one gets easier to approach. But a man who circles, he gets better at circling. You are always training yourself for something. The question is, what? I'm going to name 3 caves I see men avoiding. And I'm going to ask you to be honest with yourself about which one or which ones are yours. Cave 1, the financial cave. This is the business you haven't started, the investment you haven't made, the skill you haven't monetized, the conversation with a mentor you haven't had because you don't want to seem like you don't have it together. The fear here isn't losing money. The real fear is, what if I go all in and it's still not enough? What does that mean about me? Here's the truth. Financial failure is recoverable. Every wealthy man you admire has a graveyard of failed attempts behind them. The ones who made it aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who re-entered after they did. Money is renewable. Time and belief are not. Stop protecting your pride with your potential. Cave 2, the relationship cave. This one's quieter, harder to talk about. It's the relationship you know is draining you, but you stayed because you don't want to be alone. Or the woman you actually want to pursue, but you're afraid of rejection. Or the friendship that's been holding you at a low frequency for years and you haven't cut it. The fear here is abandonment, or judgment, or being alone in the in-between. But here's what the men who entered this cave found on the other side. When you choose yourself, even when it costs you, something shifts. Your standards rise. The way people treat you changes because you sent a signal to the world. I know my worth. The loneliness of transition is temporary. The slow death of a wrong relationship is not. Cave 3, the identity cave. This is the deepest one. And most men never talk about it. It's the cave of becoming someone your current circle doesn't recognize. Because here's the thing, nobody tells you about growth. It changes who you are. And when you change who you are, some of the people around you are going to feel it like a threat. The man who levels up is often the man who gets called different by people who knew him when he was easier to be around. The fear? What if I lose people I love in the process of becoming who I need to be? The answer nobody wants to hear. Some of them, yes. But you will gain something more valuable than comfort. You will gain alignment. Life stops feeling like friction. You stop performing. You stop shrinking yourself to fit rooms that were never built for your full size. That cave is terrifying. It's also the most important one you'll ever walk through. So how do you actually do it? I'm not going to give you a 10-step system. I don't believe in that. But I will give you 3 things that are true for every man who entered his cave and came out on the other side. 1, he named it specifically. Not, I want to be more courageous. Not, I need to get my life together. He named the exact cave, the specific decision, the specific conversation, the exact action with a real date attached to it. Vague fear lives forever. Named fear has a deadline. 2, he moved before he was ready. Readiness is a feeling, and that feeling was designed by evolution to keep you in the tribe, not to help you build an empire. The men who changed their lives didn't wait for readiness. They moved with the fear still in their chest and let confidence build from action, not before it. 3, he accepted that the cave might be dark before it gets light. This is the one most people aren't prepared for. You're going to go in, and it might get hard fast. And your brain is going to scream that this is proof you shouldn't have come. Don't listen. The cave is always darkest at the entrance. I want to be real with you for a second. I've had caves I circled for years. There were moments in my life where I watched other people enter theirs and told myself I was being strategic, being patient, waiting for the right time. The right time never came. I had to make a time. And the first step in was genuinely one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever done. Not because it was physically hard, but because it required me to stop performing safety and actually commit. And I'm telling you this not to perform vulnerability, but because I think some of you need to hear that the fear doesn't mean you're weak. It means the thing matters. The men who feel nothing when they take risks, they're not brave. They just don't have enough stake in the outcome. You care. That's why it's hard. Use that. Here's the thing Joseph Campbell discovered that I want you to carry out of this video. The cave you fear to enter, it doesn't just hold the treasure, it holds you. The version of you that can handle the life you actually want. The version that doesn't shrink. The version that moves, adjusts, and moves again. He's not out here on the open road waiting for you to feel ready. He's in the cave, and he has been waiting patiently, quietly. Every single time you circled, you already know what the cave is. You've known this whole video. The only question left is the one only you can answer. Is today the day you stop circling? Because if not today, when? And if not this version of you, which one? If this hits you somewhere real, drop a comment below with just one word. The word that describes what's on the other side of your cave. And if you're not subscribed yet, this channel is for the man who is done performing comfort. We go deep here. I'll see you in the next one.